I hate American politics. More specifically, our two-party system. For context, I'm not putting out a political statement here. I'm simply reporting what I see happening within the current political climate. Am I only 19 years old? Yes. Do I know a lot? No. Should I know more about the current modern political system? Yes. I hear older generations, politicians, commentators, news outlets, the list goes on, point the finger at less involved people in politics, like myself, and say that we should be more involved and invested in politics. I can't agree with this, because it is good to have a population engage with politics. It determines the law of the land, our response to worldwide happenings, and what we vote for is the reality we get. But my problem lies with the fact that there's a massive divide in our reality, in the country, between two sides, because we've allowed them to convince us that there are only two options with no in-between. I encourage you to watch the entire video because my thoughts are all over the place, and I promise you by the end of the video I get somewhere. Back in high school, especially during COVID, I was so red-pilled in so many ways, like it was bad. Thankfully, that phase wore off, and younger me realized that radicalization is stupid. But as I got into doing more things and meeting more people later on in my senior year of high school and going into college, where I am now, I realized that I don't like the current political system. And to be completely straightforward, I hate political parties. Political parties are, in my opinion, the biggest problem America has because they influence well-adjusted people to cause a massive divide. I'm saying this from the perspective of someone who does not engage in politics or any form of activism looking into that whole realm. Every news article I read, every politician I see speaking, all say the same thing: it's their fault. There are two major cults in America that we're all familiar with: Democrats and Republicans. I call them cults because they lie their way into garnering unfathomable amounts of support. I also believe that not all politicians are evil. When looking at local mayors, county commissioners, school boards, etc., most of those people are in it to help their community and have good intentions because they're local. They engage with the people there regularly. But when you get to federal or even state levels of politics, it becomes much darker. There are so many people in the US, and these very few politicians that we have claim to be for the people and make all these promises that if you vote for them, they'll make your life so much better. Let's put something into perspective here. According to the Census Bureau, the population of the US is 336,984,080 as of the time of researching this on August 24th, 2024. And all those people are divided up across the US, which takes up roughly 3,532,316 square miles of land, which is divided into 50 states of varying size and population densities. Alaska is the least densely populated state with approximately 1.3 people per square mile, and New Jersey is the most densely populated state with approximately 1,263.2 people per square mile. Needless to say, the US is huge, and very different depending on where you look. This leads me to the thought that there's no possible way that at a federal level, all these people can be accurately represented by 435 people in the House of Representatives and 50 people in the Senate. I know there's way more to cover in this realm, but those are the big ones that we hear about. How on earth can people be accurately represented by so few people? Especially when those already few people somehow mostly categorize themselves as either two colors, red or blue. It is so insane to me that politics have essentially become sporting events. There's two sides, each booing, insulting, and shit-talking the other without taking a second to think about why the other side thinks the way they do. In sports, that mindset makes sense. In regards to politics, the literal thing that affects everyone doesn't make sense. Media coverage of these things doesn't help either, constantly forming opinions for each side to present as fact instead of presenting facts so readers can form their own opinions. Neither side compromises and continues to be more extreme as the years go by. These two cults are not in it for the betterment of the American people, they're in it for the betterment of themselves and to just one-up the other cult. I really wish both sides of the aisle, which, by the way, I hate saying because that just implies that the citizens of the same country are against each other, were willing to hold true to the values they represent, but also be willing to respect what other people think. One side screams that the other is full of elitist, neo-Nazi fascists, while the other side is crying about how the first is a bunch of pedophilic communists. Why is this our reality? Are there horrible people out there? Of course. That will be the case for everything, forever. But the fact that these two cults try to constantly criminalize and push blame on each other over everything is exhausting. Each cult somehow manages to convince well-adjusted, normal people that are just trying to live their lives and try to make things better that voting for extremists is the only option. People don't vote third party because we all know they won't have any significant say in anything. So we might as well vote for the totally legit candidates that are propped up by millions upon millions of dollars that come from God knows where and are treated like gods, not servants of the people, because they're the best option, right? At the end of the day, America is a huge place with a ton of people. And the fact that each of these cults wants to push their agenda on all of America is insane. Like, how would that even work? Why can't we agree to disagree or make compromises? Each state is vastly different in so many ways, whether it be ethnicities, industry, climate, location. The list is literally endless. And people want there to be a generalized standard of beliefs, values, and morals for everyone. We're all just people. We shouldn't be pitted against each other because we live different lifestyles. I just want a system that I can engage in that celebrates the fact that we can come together as this giant country full of people and coexist, unlike so many other places in the world. But no, we have to stoop to a level where we're just rooting for a black and white contest with no gray areas. I cannot tell you what specifically I want for our political system. I am just reporting what I observe. Like I said, this is all from the perspective of someone who's not engaged in politics, looking into it from the outside. This is what I see, and people wonder why some choose not to engage in politics. But I'm just a dumb college kid that hasn't had any life experience yet, right?